Hey, I enjoy box opening videos myself, so I figured I have some boxes to open of the new Time Spiral set. Might as well. I have the recording ability, I have the boxes. Might as well take advantage and also provide some people with content if they want. So, let's see. So, we got the first Time Spiral box. Set that there. I'm not entirely sure what to expect. I did check spoilers, because I just wanted to be sure. And I was not playing Magic when Time Spiral came out. Huh. Empty of the Wars, that's interesting. Reality Acid. Enchant the permanent. Enchanted permanent controller sacrifices it. Oh, okay. So it's like removal. It's delayed removal. That's interesting. That might go good in my Muldrotha Commander deck, though it does take a while. Sliver Pit Keeper. Enters the battlefield. If you have 4 or more creatures in your grave, you may return target creature from your grave to your hand. I mean, that's not a bad card. Ooh, Green Seeker. Green, tap, discard a card for basic, put it into your hand. So that's a way to fix some mana, so I'll set that to the side. I like to set useful commons and uncommons aside for quick access in a separate kind of thing. So, Blight Speaker. Target player loses a life. Search your library for a rebel permanent. Okay. Judge Unworthy. Then so choose target attacking or blocking creature. Scry 3, then reveal the top card. I mean, I would probably rather just use one of the other common uncommon ones that just destroy target attacking or blocking creature, because that seems rather unreliable. Riftbolt. Gaia's Anthem is just a good anthem. It's like, if you don't have something else that can fill a slot, that's just a good card with a go-to. Griffin Guide isn't bad, but not what I'm looking for. Cards in graveyards lose all abilities. That's a deck tech for something, but I cannot... Oh, I just realized if Yixla Jailer is on the board and somebody plays that green, white, black bug commander that distributes counters for each keyword in your grave, would Jailer prevent that, since all cards in the graveyards lose their abilities? So there would technically be none? I don't know, I'd have to look that up. Pact of the Titan. I'm not sure if that's good or not, but a old style Reclamation Sage, that is good. So there we go. So set and token, set that there. So Reclamation Sage, that is definitely a nice hit. If there's one card that's going to be in demand, it's definitely going to be Reclamation Sage with an old border. That's already a really good card. I have to say, these packs are rather easy to open right now. I definitely had issues with Jumpstart and Call Time with some tough packs. Assassinate. Edge of Autumn. If you control 4 or fewer lands, search your library for a basic land to put it onto the battlefield tapped. Cycling, sacrifice a land. That would actually be good in Muldrotha. Because if I have 4 or less, I go fetch a land. And for the cycling, I just sacrifice a land, which I can immediately play back with Muldrotha. That's pretty good. Ivory Giant, tap all non-white creatures. Not the greatest from what I've... No. Strangling Root, Bewildered, Judge Unworthy. Dark Heart Sliver. I mean, this is a good way to avoid exiling cards. Slivers gain +2/+2. Prodigal Pyromancer deals 1 damage to any target. That's not bad. Telerio West enters tapped. Taps for a blue. Transmute. Discard this card. Search your library for a card with converted mana cost 0. So really, I would just be looking for lands. Oh, a Primeval Titan. I know that card's banned in Commander, but that might be something people would want to trade for or buy. Okay. I was just giving you credit for being so easy to open, and now I'm having trouble with the pack. There we go. Part of the issue is I just clipped my nails the other day. Piracy Charm. Okay. Another Sliver. Snapback. Evolution Charm. Search your library for a basic. Add to your hand. Return to a creature from your graveyard to your hand. I feel like that's going to be a decent card that might see some play by me. See, I don't think Nantoko Shaman, especially since the suspend cost is more than its original cost. But it's to get it, like if you cast it through normal means, you don't get that card draw. That's why. So, Sunlance, Joyra's Time Bug. Choose target permanent you control or suspended card you own. If that permanent or card has a time counter on it, you may remove a time counter from it or put another time counter on it. Huh. Interesting. Riftmarked Knight. Protection from black. Flanking. Okay. Riftmarked Knight might actually be a good card. I mean, you do get that token that has protection from white. It also has haste, which I'm a bit surprised by. I suppose I'm not showing the cards properly. I'm too busy looking at them myself. Faceless Devourer enters the battlefield. Exile another target creature, and then when it dies, return it. Okay. Stormcloud Djinn. Can only block creatures with flag. Slaughter Pact. Ooh, I think that's a good one. Destroy target non-black creature, and at the beginning of your next upkeep. Yeah. Paradoxical Outcome. Turn any number of target non-land, non-token permanents you control to their owner's hand. Draw a card for each card returned to your hand this way. I feel like that is a combo piece that I am not currently seeing. I feel like that might be a good one. Because it can be used to protect your stuff. Like you can just return a bunch of like 0 drops. I believe Ornithopter's that 0 mana, 0/2 flyer that I'm thinking of. It's like you could play the Ornithopter use it to block, then use Paradoxical Outcome to return it to your hand so the creature remains blocked. You keep your Ornithopter and you draw a card off it, but that's a pretty basic use for it. Dreamstalker enters. Return a permanent you control to the hand. Any target, then reveal the top card of your library. Okay. All sliver creatures have poisonous 1. What's poisonous? Oh! It's infect. But not infect. Discard a card, sacrifice a land? Oh, that might be good too. That, I would definitely consider putting into my Muldrotha deck. Okay. If an opponent with search a library searches the top 4 of that library instead. That is definitely a card I would set off to the side. Periphery notes? At the beginning of your upkeep, destroy the creature with the least power. It can't be regenerated. If 2 or more creatures are tied for least power, you choose one of them. When there are no creatures on the battlefield, sacrifice it. This is... oh, yeah. Beast Whisper, that's a hit. I'm pretty sure people are going to love a good Beast Whisper. Then a foil Phalid Germinator. I believe one of my friends has a Saproling deck that uses spore counters. So he'd probably be interested in that foil. I just remembered Stuffy Doll's in this set. Last time I saw Stuffy Doll was when I actually played Standard way back in, I think, 2013, was it? Gate Crash was my first ever new set. Oh! I didn't realize. If you suspend a creature, it gains haste when it enters. I did not know that. That explains why that one token from the Knight card had haste. A nice Gemhide Sliver. Okay. Fury Slivers, not bad. Beginning of your upkeep, put a spore counter on Mycologist. Remove 3 to create a Saproling deck. Oh, I have no clue why I'm yawning so much. Okay. That's an interesting one. Joda's Avenger. Gets -1/-1 and gains your choice of double strike, protection from red, vigilance, or shadow. I can definitely see some uses for this card, speaking of Stuffy Doll. Mystic Confluence. Oh, that's definitely a nice one. I'm getting some really good hits on the old border style cards. Okay. I'm pretty sure I've seen a lot of these cards by now, so I'm gonna start going through them a bit quicker. Dusk Rider Peregrine, flying protection from black. That actually has a purpose in my flyer tribal, I would think. That's a pretty good one to have, so I'll set that to the side. If High Arcanist. So it's a 7 mana 3/5. Vigilance. Tap. Untap target attacking creature. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to and by that creature this turn. And it has to spend 4. Huh. That's interesting. And a Panharmonicon. Holy. Last I remember, isn't Panharmonicon like a $10-ish card? With the normal border? I don't pay attention that closely to prices. But I believe that's one of them that's up there. Okay. Kavu Primarch. Okay, so it's just... There's another artist. Pendlehaven Elder. Interesting. Sulfur Elemental is... It's an interesting card. Ooh, our first mythic, Restore Balance. Ah, that's a nice one. Knight of the Reliquary. I forget what this one is. Ah, okay. So it allows you to fix your lands a good bit. But it also gets bigger for the more you fix. That's a... I think that would be a pretty good card, wouldn't it? I mean, if you throw in a Crucible of Worlds, then you're not really losing those lands anyways. And it doesn't say only as a sorcery, so you could do that in response to your opponent passing the turn. Mana Tithe, Chromatic Star, Crook Claw Transmuter. Okay. I think that would have been a much better common if it also had Split Second. Ah, Arcblade, yes. That's... It's rather inefficient for paying 5, but you do get to keep recasting it. So that... Street Rave, that's... Honestly, I'm not sure if anyone would actually run this, but I would probably run it just for the cycling, because paying 2 life is really cheap. Primal Force Mage. I mean, it's definitely an interesting card, but the fact that the creature only gets +3/+3 when it enters is definitely a downside, because you need haste then. Dralnu Lichlord. If damage would be dealt to Dralnu Lichlord, sacrifice that many permanents instead. Target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. Okay. I'm not sure I would ever use that, but it definitely seems like a good card. I keep hearing that Leveler is a really good card, but I don't understand it. Like, I get it's a 5 mana 10/10, but other than negating the triggered ability to exile your library, I'm not sure how you would abuse that, so Ooh, I got a foil version of that bird I set aside. I wonder if that'll be worth anything. I know I'm going pretty slow here. I'm just stopping at this point for cards I haven't seen or just don't remember. Okay, Riddle of Lightning. That's one of those spore counter ones. Dead and Gone. I feel like the Gone side should be blue, because returning creatures to the hand is more of a blue thing than red. But it's still a good thing. Prismatic Lens is still a rather good rock, even if it only taps for a colorless. Necrotic Sliver, Phantom Worm. Enters with 4 1/1 counters. If damage would be dealt, remove a 1/1 counter from it instead. Huh. And then Pongify. Ooh, a Summoner's Pact! And an Ancient Den! I'm gonna set that to the side. I have to wonder if that's worth anything. I know those artifact lands are some pretty hot stuff, so I have to wonder if that artifact den's going to be worth anything. Slipstream Serpent. Controls an island. When you control no islands, sacrifice, and then it has more. Okay, so it's honestly a bad card. Another Evolution Charm. Ancient Grudge. Shade Ichor. Careful Consideration. Target player draws 4 cards, then discards 3 cards. If you cast a spell during your main phase, instead that player draws 4 cards and discards 2 cards. Huh. I mean, you could be that kind of person that targets somebody else. That would be funny. Like, here, I'll let you draw cards, but then you have to discard most of them. Nightshade Assassin. 2/1 first strike enters, you may reveal X black cards from your hand. If you do, target creature gets -X/-X. Huh. And then Carekeep. Ramanap Ruins. I'm pretty sure this one is probably worthless, but still, that is just really awesome art. Like, that old border with that art I would honestly believe that was from an older set if I did not know better. Because that to me just looks like an older card through and through. I know Leveler is an older card, so there's that. Still only 1 mythic for this box so far. I'll condense that and that to give my elbow a little more room. Chromatic. Tendrils of Corruption. Deals X damage to a creature, and you gain X life for X's number of swamps you control. I mean, that's probably pretty good removal in a mono black deck. Calciderm I would not consider a very good card. Like, it's a 4-mana 5/5 with Shroud, so unless you can get rid of the Shroud, you really have no way of dealing with the Vanishing. Ooh! Spellburst would definitely work in one of my decks. The buyback cost, like, it's a reusable counterspell. That's pretty good. Paradise Plume, choose a color. Whenever a player casts a spell of the chosen color, you may gain a life and add 1 mana of the chosen color. Huh. I'll have to play around with that a little bit. Angel of Salvation. Flash Convoke. When Angel of Salvation enters, prevent the next 5 damage that would be dealt this turn to any number of targets divided as you choose. Interesting. And then an old school Vandal Blast. Ooh. I know this one gets used because it has that overload mechanic. It's like it can destroy all artifacts you don't control. I'm pretty sure that would go for something. Skirk Shaman. I know, sadly I don't have the best camera. I should probably look into getting a new one that's higher quality. But for now, oh well. So on to the uncommons. Whenever a stronghold rat deals combat damage to a player, they each discard. Huh. Okay. Ooh, our second mythic, Ancestral Vision. That's a good one. Banishing Light. Oh, and a foil periphery node. Banishing the old school Banishing Light might not be worth anything. Just because Banishing Light is so common. But it is in that old school border, so it really depends on how common it is in that art, I would think. And if anyone's watching this YouTube video still, and you see a card you want, feel free to hit me up if I might still have the card. I tend not to sell most of my cards, unless they're really expensive. Temporal Isolation. I'm not sure what the point of having Shadow is, and preventing all damage it would deal. It basically gets unblockable, but can't deal damage. That's weird to me. I suppose they would probably be best on like attack trigger cards, like with the new boast cards. That's probably where it would fit in the best. Gemhide. Okay, up to the uncommons. So when Stonecloaker enters, return a creature to your hand, and when it enters, exile a card from a graveyard. Firewake Sliver. Skittering Monstrosity. That just seems like a bad spell to me. 5 mana 5/5 that you have to sacrifice if you play another creature. And a Miri the Cursed. Ooh, a young Pyromancer. I believe this is a uncommon, but it's another one of those that sees a lot of play, so that might also be one that's worth something. I'm still super happy about that Summoner's Pact. So, also, I didn't realize it's an instant. Okay, so, let's see. I believe Grape Shot's one of those cards that people were, from what I've heard, they were complaining about when Storm was actually used. Seal of Primordium. That's actually one I would want to use in my Muldrotha deck, because it costs as much as a Naturalize. I don't have to use it right away, and with Muldrotha, it's a recurring removal because I can keep playing it, so... Amro Scout. Bound in Silence. Okay, another Rat, Sliver. Celestial Crusader. I was wanting to get one, at least one of these. And then a Karavik. The Merciless. Here's another one that might be worth something. Dovin's Veto. A counterspell that can't be countered. I have to say, these packs are a lot easier to open than a lot of prior cards. Children... Okay, so this is the start of the uncommons. Ooh, a Croson Grip. That's a nice hit. Bonded Fetch. Okay. Ooh, an Urborg. That's another good hit. Thraben Inspector. I'm not too sure on if that card actually sees play, but it's not a bad card. And a Spore Sower Thalids. That's 2 foil Spore cards. But it's also, I believe that's one of the more key cards since it puts a Spore counter on each fungus you control, not just itself. Choose target creature, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land card. Gets plus X minus X, where X is the CMC, and then put all revealed cards on bottom. Okay. Huh. Okay. Cautery Sliver. Not one I would call particularly great. Sudden Spoiling. Split Second. Oh yeah, this is the, this is another one I was wanting to get, because that is a Polymorphous Jest, but with Split Second. So it can't be countered, can't be reacted to. That's a really good card. Stonehorn Dignitary enters the battlefield. Target opponent skips their next combat phase? I didn't even know this card existed. I mean, that certainly sounds abusable with, like, flicker stuff. Soul Herder is the card I was thinking of, because Soul Herder is that 1 white blue flicker card. It flickers a card on the end of your turn, and also gets a counter every time you flicker something. You combine this card with Soul Herder, then you're skipping a person's combat every turn. Ooh, Search for Tomorrow. I was hoping to get more of those. I'm surprised I haven't hit one until now, considering it's a common. Rift Elemental. Okay. To the uncommons. Enslave. Okay, so it's a mind control that deals some damage to you. Dryad Arbor, that's another good one that I was wanting to get. Lingering Souls. I'm not sure how played this card still is in formats outside of Commander, because Commander is pretty much all I play these days. It was really good when I was playing Standard, but that was way back then. I believe it's still used in Modern for some decks. Ooh, the Sliver Cycling card, that's a good one. Thrill of the Hunt, Anchor Slick, Clockwork Hydra, Salt Blast. I do want to point out that it says non-white permanent, so you can destroy a land with Salt Blast, because lands are technically colorless permanents. I'm not sure about the artifact land I pulled. I believe that would also be colorless, but it just says non-white permanent, so this could target. A Scribe Ranger. Ooh, a Magus of the Moon. Ooh, there's another good hit. And a Tali Primal Storm. That's probably worth something. So once we get to the next box, I'll probably start skipping commons and uncommons just unless I see one of those cards I want to set aside. So I'm pretty sure we've seen basically everything at this point. Edge of Autumn. Sulfur Elemental. Gaia's Anthem. Another Aven Mind Sensor. Draining Whelk. Flash Flying. Enters the battlefield. Counter target spell. Oh, I want this in my counterspell deck. I'll put that to the side. Timur Ascendancy. Oh, I'm pretty sure this one will be a good card as well. Coral Trickster. I'm not sure that's going to be worth anything, but thankfully foils are not being printed to oblivion in this set, so even the common and uncommon foils might be worth something. Because I'm not sure if anyone hasn't noticed yet, but there is not a foil in every single pack. Okay. How the heck do you even pronounce that? Pythesis, I believe. So it's either a 7 mana sorcery or 2 mana with Suspend 5. That might actually be good in Commander, just because there's usually something on the board. So that might be good even with Suspend 5. You could probably suspend that turn 2 and you'll still hit something. Plus it also acts as a deterrent from people playing big cards. Storm Entity enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it for each other spell cast this turn. Okay. Counter target spell that targets a permanent you control. That's a really good white card. And a Gauntlet of Power. Choose a color. So it's an anthem for that color, not just my creatures, mind you. And whenever a basic land is tapped for mana of the chosen color. Okay, so it's a mana doubler and an anthem. Exquisite Firecraft. Deals 4 damage to any target. If there are 2 or more instant sorceries in your graveyard, it can't be countered. I'm not sure how good that card is. 3 mana for 4 damage is rather inefficient. I mean, you have to keep in mind Lightning Bolt is 1 mana and Lightning Strike is 2 mana. And they both deal 3. But that Exquisite Firecraft might be good because of that possibility to not be able to be countered. Shivan Sandmage. Move 2 time counters, put 2 time counters, and suspend 4. Okay, Pongify. Benolosh Commander. Oh, this is the guy that makes soldiers with his suspend. Okay. So, put him there. Arch of Erazka. I'm not sure how well Arch of Erazka is going to price. I mean, it only tapped for colorless, and its other ability cost 5. So, I'm not sure if that's even going to see much play. Like, if you combine it with Zerda, that companion from Ikoria, it would cost 3, and that's a much better deal for drawing a card. But that is a very specific combo, and I don't believe there's another card like Zerda that affects all of your cards. Like, there's Biomancer's Familiar, but that one, Familiar specifically says creatures you control. Dune Rider Outlaw. Okay. Ooh, a Tarmogoyf. I believe this is one of the higher cards? I'm not entirely sure on pricing. SRAM Senior Edificer. Whenever you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle spell, draw a card. I believe this is ran in a lot of Voltron decks. So that's probably worth something. Nightshade Assassin. Okay, it's that one. So, not doing too bad. I just realized these cards have a smell to them. It's not like a bad smell. It reminds me of like when you would go to the school library and pick out probably one of the older books. It has like that old paper smell from what I just got. It's not terribly pungent because I just noticed it. Let's see. Uncommons. Nothing new there. Tombstalker, Flying and Delve. I mean, it's an 8 mana 5/5 flyer that can be a 2 mana 5/5 flyer. So it might be good. Mystic Sanctuary. If I remember right, that is from... I'm forgetting the name of that set now. That fairy tale one. The one that had Oko. When it enters untab, you may target instant or sorcery from your graveyard and put it on top of your library. Yeah. I believe that one might be worth something. I'm not entirely sure. There's finally another search for tomorrow. A nice Return to Dust. People are always looking for one of those. Imperiosaur. See, if it was a 3 mana 5/5, I'd probably say it's good. Even if it kept the double green casting cost. Although that's probably a issue of power creep these days, I'm guessing. I mean, I probably wouldn't run it even in a dinosaur tribal deck. Greater Gargadon. This one's a very interesting one. I just realized, why is this a beast? It looks a lot more like a dinosaur. Sorry, I can't get the camera to focus very well, but it looks a lot more like a dinosaur to me. And then a Talrend. Ooh, a nice foil homing sliver. That's a nice card because it lets you cycle any of your slivers to fetch another sliver. I mean, it's basically all of your slivers also double as a 3-mana colorless sliver tutor, which is just really good in my books. Piracy Charm, Evolution Charm, Rift Bolt. Now we get into some comments. I don't think I've seen this one. Cryptic Annelid. Enters the battlefield, scry 1, then scry 2, then scry 3. That might be a good flicker card. I'm not sure otherwise. Rough and Tumble. Rough deals 2 damage to each creature without flying. Tumble deals 6 damage to each creature with flying. Interesting. Might of Old Krosa. I believe there's another green card called Might of Krosa. This one's specifically Old Krosa. Okay. Ooh, a nice Lotus Bloom. I forget. I know, like, for your hand, it's you have to suspend it. But I believe there's a ruling where if there's no mana cost in the upper right, you can use a card like Muldrotha to just play it back. I'll have to check that ruling, because Lotus Bloom might be one of those rare cards that I really want. Dismember in the old border. That might be a really good card. I mean, it has the Phyrexian mana, so it's effectively 1 mana and 4 health. And target creature gets -5/-5. Prodigal Pyromancer. I'm not sure if that's a good foil hit, but I know one of my friends has a Death Touch Pinger deck, so he might be interested in that. And basically the premise of that deck is he runs every single card that has a tap, deal 1 damage to creature or any target, that kind of thing. And then he just equips enchantments and artifacts that give Death Touch so that they can kill basically anything they hit. Okay. Mire Boa, 2 mana, 2/1, Swamp Walk, and Regenerate. Haze of Rage. Storm with Buyback. So wait, you could place Haze with the buyback for a total of 4 mana. When you cast a spell, copy it for each spell cast before it. So, like, if I play Haze, buy it back, all my creatures will get 1/0. Then if I play it again, even if it's just for the 6, then they'll get +2/+0 because it'll count the prior Haze of Rage. Which I buy it back. If I buy it back then I will play it and it goes to +6/+0. That might be a good card. I'm not entirely sure. Big Game Hunter. Enters the battlefield, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. It can't be regenerated. I like this card. This one might go in a deck. Sarah Avenger. I'm not a huge fan because you can't cast it on your first, second, or third turn. But it's still a 2 mana 3/3 flying vigilance. So I might put that in a deck. Anger of the Gods. Now this is a rare card from Theros. Original Theros, I'm pretty sure. And it's in the old border. But yeah, this is another one. Like, again, my camera doesn't show it particularly well. But just look at the art and compare it with the old border. Like, I just want to try and get this point across. If you let's see, yeah, I'd even say that one. So, I know this is all going to be subjective, and I'm getting away from the box opening for a second. But yeah, just compare the art with the border. That looks really old school to me. If you compare it with this Vandal Blast, the art very clearly doesn't match with the border. It's a very different aesthetic to me. And while Beast Whisperer does have like a weathered look to it, I still think it doesn't match quite like Anger of the Gods would. So that's just why I really like some of these cards in the old border even more. Reality Acid. Da, 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 da. Uncommons. There's another Spell Burst. Nether Trader. Haste Shadow. Whenever another creature is put into your graveyard, you may pay black. If you do, return it from your grave to the field. And it has haste. That might go good in Muldrotha. I'm not entirely sure. Actually, that would probably go in my Marin deck very well, now that I think about it. Palace Jailer. You become the Monarch. Okay, this is probably one of the few old border cards that make you Monarch. So wait a second. When Palace Jailer enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch, period. And then the effect goes into a different text. It's not part of the original effect. So that, to me, if I remember right from rulings, that's a separate clause. So if I, like, sacrifice or kill my Jailer before somebody even has the chance to take Monarch from me, I believe that creature... Oh, no. The first one is becoming the Monarch. Okay, so no, it's all one effect. I was thinking wrong. Although that would have been a cool interaction to use. Another Salt-Crested Step. Another Haze. You draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the number of creatures you control. Huh. I'll put that to the side for now. Magus of the Future. Ooh, that's a good one. Play with the top card of your library revealed. You may play lands and cast spells from the top. That's pretty good. Liliana's Triumph. Each opponent sacrifices a creature. If you control a Liliana Planeswalker, each opponent also discards a land. I'm not sure how good this one will be, but we just hit our first foil old border, and that's a Courser of Crewfix. And oh my god, that foiling looks amazing. I honestly wish they would go back to this kind of foiling. That looks amazing. And what's more apparent to me is the card is not bent already. Like, even cards from Kaldheim that were foil were already chipping a little bit after I pulled them out. This Courser is just beautiful. That is such a good card. I'm going to set this off to itself because that's such a nice looking card. So, next pack. Another Seal of Primidium. I am just stepping all over myself today. Riftwing Cloudskate. Okay, so it's a bounce with suspend. Salt Crest Step. Rada, Heir to Keld. Mirror Entity. This one is actually a really interesting card. Like, it's a 3-mana 1/1, but it also buffs everything with its X ability, so... Like, you could make a whole bunch of tokens, pay 5, and all of your creatures are suddenly 5/5s. Like, not the greatest solo card, but it can definitely make combos. Another Green Seeker. Another Paradise Plume. I just wanted to make sure I didn't skip an uncommon. Mystical Teachings. Search your library for an instant card or a card with flash. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. That's very interesting. Sengir Nosferatu. So 5 mana, 4/4 flying, 1 black exile, create a 1/2 black bat creature token. With flying, it has sack this, return an exiled card named Sengir Nosferatu to the battlefield. Okay, so it has the, it has a way to protect itself from removal and other board wipes and such. Well, not really a board wipe, because if you do this in response and you summon the bat would die, and then even if you... So yeah, it has a way to protect itself from removal, but I wouldn't call it particularly great. Kasali Pride Mage, I believe this is one of the only... Like, I know it's a good card, because it's like, it's 1 mana, sack it and destroy an artifact or enchantment, and then it also has Exalted. So I know it's a good card. But I believe Kasali Pride Mage was printed after they changed the border. So that might be worth something. But for those who don't know, I believe you're guaranteed 1 foil old border per box. I've watched a couple videos myself, and that's what I've seen at least. Trump the Domains. This is a new one. Domain. Until end of turn, creatures you control gain trample and +1/+1 for each basic land type among lands you control. Oh, that's actually pretty good in 4 and 5 color decks. Like, you'd still rather use Overrun in 3 and lower, but in 4 and 5 color decks, that's a better Overrun. So I'll set that to the side. Sudden Shock. That's another good one that we haven't seen. Split second, deal 2 damage to any target. Delay. Counter target spell. If the spell countered this way, exile it with 3 time counters on it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. That is interesting. And then there's Joyra. Ooh, I know Vampire Hexmage is a good hit. And I have one from the Mystery Booster box, I believe. And then another foil, Rigid Kusite. I don't think that's a particularly good one. Okay. Evolution Charm. Smallpox. Knight of the Holy Nimbus. Flanking. If it would be destroyed, regenerate it? So wait, this thing just doesn't die unless an opponent pays 2? That's pretty good. Especially if you enchant it with a one of those cards that prevents activated abilities from being used. It just means it doesn't die. Conflagrate. Pulmonic Sliver. I haven't seen this sliver before. All slivers have flying. All slivers have, if this permanent would be put into the graveyard, you may put it on top of its owner's library instead. I'm not entirely sure how useful that is. There's a Feather the Redeemed, which is nice. I know Feather makes for a really annoying commander. I've played against Feather before. And if my friends ever somehow find this video and watch it, they'll think, huh, you think a commander's annoying? Because apparently all I play is degenerate decks according to them. I don't even think I make that bad of a deck. You need to pay 0 rather than pay the echo cost for permanents you control. That's not bad for an echo deck. Ooh, another Trump the Domains. Muckdrub. Flash. Enters the battlefield, change the target of target spell that targets only a single creature to Muckdrub. That seems rather bad. Hypergenesis. This is while it's not very good. Why did I put Gyra here? While Hypergenesis is not that good of a card, it's a very fun, like, commander card. Elvish Mystic. In the old border. I don't remember if I believe Lana War Elf, or War Elves, was in the old border. I don't think Elvish Mystic was, so I know those 1 mana, like 1-drop mana dorks are usually pretty popular. So that might be worth something. To the uncommons. Basalt Gargoyle. I believe this is... I might be thinking wrong, that might be Innistrad, but I believe this is from a card around the time that I started. Boom or bust. I have to say, if anyone ever plays bust, you are scum. You should not destroy lands. Oh, there's a Leyline of the Void in the old border. And honestly, I would say this is another one of those, I mean, it pretty well matches the old border, the art does. Not as well as, like, Anger the Gods, but I think that one does match very well. So, couple packs left for the first box here. And let's see. New card. Lionel War Mentor. Discard a card, create a green elf druid. So it's a 1-drop that creates mana dorks. That might be a good card, but not one I would probably run. Urza's Factory. Time Bender. When Time Bender is turned face up, choose one. Remove 2 time counters or put 2 time counters. Okay. Ooh, a Pact of Negation. And an old border sad robot. I think I might have just hit the money card for the set. If it's not Courser of Karufix, it's probably this foil Walk the Aeons. That's an extra turn card with buyback. Although it does say sacrifice 3 islands. That is very easy to get around, however, with something like, oh, I forgot what that 1 mana card is now. It's a 1 mana blue card that makes all lands on all of your lands an additional in addition to what they have. I forget what it's called. Realm Right, that's it. Realm Right. So that's honestly very fixable with a couple cards like that. So that's a very abusable card. Another Sudden Shock, and another Celestial Crusader. Glittering Wish. You may reveal a multicolored card you own from outside the game and put it into your hand. Exile Glittering Wish. I would say that's a pretty good card, but I'm pretty sure taking cards from outside the game is banned in Commander. A Old School Contagion Clasp, that might be another good one. And then our third Spore Counter card. So, if my friend still has that Fungus deck, he's going to be pretty happy. So I will move those around a bit. Let's open up this other box. That should be all I need for this pair of scissors. I'm not entirely sure how I would rate the first box. I mean, I hit some really good cards like Pact of Negation, the foil Courser of Crucifix. But I also did hit some what are undoubtedly lower cost cards like Hypergenesis. So let's get back to this then. Oh, come on. Okay. That's the commons. Nothing new in the uncommons. Not a new rare. Disdainful Stroke. I'm not sure if that's a particularly good one to get in the old border, but it's still really good. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's a common card. And like, a 2-mana counter is still really good, even if it has its limitations. You just need to be able to meet the limitations. And a lot of people play things that cost 4 or more. The only oh, I accidentally put that into the uncommons. There we go. Arcblade. Creatures with no abilities get +2/+2. This is definitely an interesting anthem. Not sure if it would be that useful. A Gurmag Angler. That's probably what I'd say is the worst of the old border cards that I've gotten so far. Let's see. Anything. All slivers have 2 mana, tap, regenerate target sliver. That's not bad, but you'd probably be wanting to look for a Gemhide to go with that. There's a another Magus of the Future, and an old border Monastery Swiftspear. I believe that's a common again, but again, it's used in a fair number of decks, so might be worth something. It depends on how common or uncommon it is when it comes to old border. Okay. There's a prismatic lens. Big Game Hunter. Shivan Meteor. 13 damage to target creature. Yeah, that's not overkill for a lot of things. That would definitely go very well with Toralf, God of Fury now. Because there's no way Shivan Meteor is not overkilling something. Ooh, and a Harmonize. Those both go on the other side. Field of Ruin. Destroy target non-basic land an opponent controls each player. Okay. Yeah, I remember this one. This one definitely is probably worth something. And there is a foil Gaia's Anthem. That's probably worth something. there's not many, at least from what I know, not many just like blanket anthems in green. So Gaia's Anthem getting a reprint is probably good for a lot of decks. Let's see. Another Lens. Mycologist, Street Wraith, Joda's Avenger. Mangara is one of those that's really good, but also really abusable. Ooh, Sylvan's Scrying. Search your library for a land, reveal it, put it into your hand. That is one I'm definitely going to keep for myself. Just because it's a 2-mana fetch any land. I mean, it's almost the exact same as Expedition Map. And Expedition Map is also a good card. But I believe Expedition Map puts it to the field. So, ooh, Search for Tomorrow. Uncommons. Another Pact of the Titan. Ooh, I believe this is one of the big hits. Chalice of the Void. Enters the battlefield with X charge counters whenever a player casts a spell with converted mana cost equal to the number of charge counters. That spell is counted. That's pretty good. A lot of board wipes are 4, 5, or 6 mana, so you could probably prevent a lot of board wipes with this card, as well as other plays. I am probably not going to use this, so I am going to put this one in a sleeve, followed by putting it into a hard sleeve to protect it, and this is probably one I will end up selling if nobody in my group wants to trade for it. Because there are just some cards I just don't like playing with. Chalice of the Void isn't bad, but it's what I'd probably say is too strong of a card for me to be happy to use. I feel the same way about Mana Crypt. It's a 0 mana rock. Primal Force Mage. Okay. Ooh, a normal Walk the Aeons. An Ever-Flowing Chalice. I'm not sure if this one would be worth anything, but it's still really good. That foil Courser of Crucifix, I'm probably going to put to use, because I believe I only have 1 or 2 copies of that. So, that's why I haven't set it aside like I did with Chalice yet. Anything? Edge of Autumn. Poultice Liver. Core Dirge. All damage that will be dealt this turn to target creature by a source of your choice is dealt to another target creature instead. See, I saw this one in the spoilers, and I thought that's just a hilarious card to run, because I could block a giant creature, let's just say a Kozilek, play this, and suddenly I'm killing an opponent's creature. That's just hilarious to me. Oh, that's a hit. A Wheel of Fate. Old Border Grenzo Dungeon Warden. Put the bottom card of your library into your graveyard. If it's a creature card with power less than or equal to Grenzo's power, put it onto the battlefield. Huh. And then a foil Joyra's Time Bug. Not sure how usable that card is. Oh, come on. There we go. But yeah, these packs are really easy to open. I just happen to have no fingernails with which to grab. Another Trump the Domains, and another Dryad Arbor. And then a Old Border Hollow one. I'm guessing this one is not worth very much, but I do have a hollow one in one of my commander decks. If you're not familiar with the deck profile, you can find it on the Commander's Quarters YouTube channel. It uses... I'm trying to think of... Kenrith, I believe, is his name. The 5-mana commander. Like, it's a 5-drop for white, but it has 4 activated abilities, 1 for each color. And it's a cycling deck. So, if you're not familiar with the deck, you can look at it on his channel. Oh, almost put the comments there. Spellburst, another... Yeah. Another Spellburst is a welcome sight to me. Tombstalker, Trinket Mage. When Trinket Mage enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an artifact with converted mana cost 1 or less. So this could actually fetch the artifact lands, or an expedition map, or other combo pieces, so... I'm guessing that one's worth something. And then a Foil Greater Gargadon. That might actually be worth something. I'm not sure, though. Let's see. Rough and Tumble. Ooh, another Lotus Bloom. Oh, that's beautiful. A Blighted Woodland, Old Border. This is one of those that I'd say looks really good with that Old Border. That just feels Old Border. Oh, come on. Mystical Teachings again. Yavimaya Dryad. When it enters, you may search your library for a forest card. Put it onto the battlefield tapped under target player's control? Oh, I get it. So you can ramp yourself with this, but if you want, you could go fetch out a forest and give it to your opponent, and then your Dryad is unblockable. I can definitely see some uses for that. Another Karavik. I believe this one is a pretty good card, a Manifold Key. It has 1 mana, untap another artifact. But I believe that's another one of those good hits. There's so many, in my opinion. I don't know specifically in terms of value. Honestly, I don't think I'm going to get that lucky, because in the Call Time boxes that I opened, I actually opened a foil Phyrexian Vorinclex. Lost Oromancers. I mean, this is... People might feel like they want to kill this just to prevent me from searching out an artifact. Not an artifact, an enchantment. So, that's pretty good. Ooh, Sudden Death with Split Second. That's pretty good. Oh, there's a hit. Damnation. I'm gonna put these into a different pile. And then I also hit a Sigil of the Empty Throne, Old Border. Oh. That's probably a good hit. I don't remember if Sigil of the Empty Throne is a rare or not in the set that it was released in. But I know it goes really well in like Enchantress decks, where the entire plan is to play enchantments. Jaya Ballard Task Mage. Discard a card, destroy a blue permanent, discard a card, deal 3 damage to any target. Creature can't be regenerated. Then 7 mana, discard a card, deal 6 damage to each creature and player. So basically you somehow give this protection from red. I didn't even know this was in the old border. An old border wastes? I'm not even sure if that's worth something or not. And then a Slipstream Serpent foil. I'm absolutely certain that one's worthless. Like an 8-drop that can't attack unless the player the defending player controls an island. And if you have no islands, it's sacrificed. It's pretty bad. An Evolution Charm. Finally, another Dreamscape artist. I hope I haven't been missing those, but seems like they're not particularly common. Keen Sense. Huh. That's a very interesting enchantment. And then a Wipe Away, so it's a bounce that can't be responded to. That's another really good card. Premature Burial. Destroy target non-black creature that entered the battlefield since your last turn. I'm not sure how useful that is, but definitely. And an Old Border Farseek. That's a pretty good one, and that's another one I'll probably keep for myself. If somebody does want it, the offer would probably have to be above market value for me to be willing to part with it. Because Farseek was one of the original cards that I started out this game with. And it's just so iconic to me, even if I don't use it. Fungal Reaches. Ooh, another Wipe Away. Lightning Axe. Swarm Yard. Regenerate an insect, rat, spider, or squirrel. That's not bad. Old School Vanquisher's Banner. Ooh, that's a hit. 5 mana, Creature Anthem, and card draw. I don't run very many Creature Anthem decks, so I probably won't have a use for it. But that's still a really good hit. And there's another Phthisis and Assault Blast. Storm Entity. Okay, that's that one. Life and Limb. All forests and all saplings are 1/1 green sapling creatures and forest lands. I mean, it's a very interesting card. I'm honestly not sure if it's good or bad. Reckless Rats in the old border. That's not bad. Then a foil Rough and Tumble. That's the commons. Stormfront Riders. Not a particularly good one in my opinion. Another Spore card, but this one makes mana. Minions Murmurs, another Glittering Wish, and a Sorceress Spyglass in the old border. That is probably a funny card. I'm not sure how useful or how much it's worth, but it's definitely a funnier card, and I'd say it's another one of those that really fits the old border. Another Dune Rider Outlaw. Ooh, another Rebuff the Wicked. Heartwood Storyteller. Oh, this is a group hug card. Whenever a player casts a non-creature spell. This is another group hug card. And then an Old Border Ajani's Pridemate. It's one of those cards that just keeps getting reprinted because even though it is such a simple ability, it's also a very strong ability. So I don't know if that's going to be worth anything. Another Green Seeker. Happy to see that. Another Keen Sense. I know Brine Elemental, but eh. Sedge Sliver. All slivers have this creature gets 1/1 as long as you control a swamp, and all slivers have black regenerate this permanent. That's probably a rather good sliver. Ooh, Slimefoot the Stowaway, Old Border. That, I'm not sure how good that is in terms of a hit, but it's still really good. And then also a foil Cloud Key. I honestly need one of these for a deck I'm planning to build. So unless I pull a normal one, this foil is probably not going to be for trade. But yeah, let's go back to the foil Corsair Crew fix for a second. Like, if you take a quick look, you can see that it's not really bent at all, coming right out of the pack. But using this other card, this Cloud Key I just pulled, I'm not sure if I can demonstrate it really nice. I'm not too used to doing that. But yeah, you can see decently that it's already chipping. And I just pulled it out of the pack. So I don't know what it is about the old border, but apparently it's really good at preventing potato chipping. So and I don't know about other people, but if going back to the old border prevents this really bad potato chipping, I would be all for it. Another Evolution Charm. Another Seal. Riptide Pilfer, Harmonic, Imperiosaur, another Serra Avenger, and a Bedlam Reveler. You know, I should probably put this card into my Karamax deck now that I think about it, because that would be really good. My Karamax deck does not run very many creatures, enchantments, etc. It's really just Karamax and trying to abuse the spell copy effect as much as I can. So a Reveler would help me out when I run out of cards. Oh, why do I keep almost doing that? Another Rada. Goblin Engineer. Ah, I believe this is one that would be good. Like another good hit, because it tutors an artifact, but send it to the grave, and then it just costs 1 mana to, as long as the artifact is 3 or less, it just costs 1 mana to return that artifact to the field. Faceless Devourer. A Return to Dust. Fungus Sliver. All sliver creatures have, whenever this creature is dealt damage, put a 1/1 counter on it. It's probably not one of the more useful slivers, but if you combine it with the indestructible sliver, it's definitely something. Evolutionary Leap. 1 mana, sacrifice a creature, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature. Put that card into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. That is probably going into my Marin deck. And then a foil Uktabi Drake. So, I'd probably say another not very good one. I'm not doing particularly well on the foils. I've hit 3 good foils. I also want to remind, we still haven't hit a foil old border yet this pack. And we've also only hit 2 mythics. Another core dirge, that's funny. Rough and tumble. Ooh, there's our 3rd mythic. Gemstone Caverns. That... Oh my. This is probably the best pack I just opened today. Gemstone Caverns Mythic and a Treasure Cruise? I'm honestly not too sure if I'm going to sell the Treasure Cruise or not. It would probably depend on what the price it fetches is. Gemstone Cavern I'll probably end up keeping. Because I have a couple 5-color decks that would love to use Gemstone Cavern. And let's see, another seal. Move this out of the way, move this over here. Ooh, another Dryad. Vesuvan Shapeshifter. If you do until Vesuvan is turned face down, it becomes a copy of that creature, except it has as a begin. Oh, I needed one of these. I was turning my Muldrotha into a like a clone deck, because I thought that would be funny. It's like I'm just running as many clone cards as I can. And Shriekmaw. Destroy target non-artifact, non-black creature. And has fear. Huh. That might be worth something. I mean, it's no Muldrifter, but it's not a bad card. It would certainly be a lot better if it didn't have the non-artifact portion. Another Prismatic Lens. Sliversmith. Discard a card and create a 1/1 sliver artifact. Shaper Parasite. Okay, that's a bit of a weird one to me. I'm not... I believe that just moves the damage, so if it's like combat damage, you could move the damage over to, like a fog bank. So, this might be a good one. Extirpate. 1 mana, split second. Choose target card in a graveyard other than a basic land. Search its owner's graveyard, hand, and library for all cards with the same name as that card and exile them. Oh, that is a really good tech card against a lot of those Voltron decks that are in Modern. I mostly play Commander, so it's pretty useless to me. So that one is definitely for sale if somebody wants it. Dreadhorde Arcanist. Whenever it attacks, you may cast target instant or sorcery card with the converted mana cost less than or equal to the Arcanist's power from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If it would be put into your graveyard, exile it. I don't know enough about Modern these days and other formats because I've been playing almost strictly Commander for the past year-ish, year and a half-ish. So I don't know if Arcanist sees much play, if any, in other formats. Anything useful? Nope, nothing in the commons. Ooh, another delay. Oh, there's a non-foil cloud key, so that foil cloud key is definitely going up for sale more than likely. I'm guessing this one's going to be worth something. So put this cloud key into the proper protection. And then an Old Border Nature's Claim. I don't think many people run Nature's Claim these days. But it's still a really good card. It's like 1 mana to remove an artifact or enchantment, and the only downside is your opponent gets 4 life. That's not a big deal. Especially in Commander. Actually, I'll probably keep the Nature's Claim for myself, because I only have 1 copy of it. And it would have to be a more expensive card than I'm probably giving it credit for. Dormant Sliver. Huh. Oh, I believe this is a good hit. Flagstones of Trocaire. Search your library for a plane to put onto... When Flagstones is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may search your library for a planes. Huh? Why is this a good card? There must be some kind of like land shenanigans with it. And then Old Border Mortify. That's a good one. I'm keeping that one. It's like 3 mana, destroy a creature or enchantment. It's just really flexible and usable. Plus it's another one of those cards where the art just matches the border so well. Grinning Ignis. Dread Return. From your... Suddenly I'm yawning again. Echo. Okay. Reiterate. Copy target instant or sorcery spell. You may choose new targets for the copy with buyback. That is going into my Karamax deck. And then Flip the Lost. When it enters, draw a card. If it entered from your library or was cast from your library, draw 2 cards instead. When it becomes the target of a spell, shuffle it into the library. I'm probably not going to use that one. But yeah, I have to say, these packs have been some of the smoothest to open for me for a long time. Another seal. Conflagrate, Urza's Factory, blah 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 blah. Safi Eric's Doter. Sacrifice Safi Eric's Doter. When target creature is put into your graveyard this turn, return that card to the battlefield. Huh. Interesting. Old Border Bloodbraid Elf. that will probably sell well. It definitely would have sold well if the I'm forgetting the name now. The Tybalt. If the Cascade Tybalt interaction wasn't fixed recently, that probably would. But we got our foil old border young pyromancer. Not a card I'll likely use. This will, considering foils are decently rare in this set, this one is probably going to be worth it since it's a foil and old border. So I'm going to set that off to the side. But yeah, I took a look at that young pyromancer foil while I was talking about the Sophy for a second. I think I was talking about the Sophy, I don't remember. I took a look to see if it was potato chipping at all. No, the old borders seem to be very well resistant to potato chipping. At least much better than the current set of cards they use. Another Greenseeker and Search for Tomorrow back to back. They don't seem to be very common, but they do seem to come together when they do show up. Thalon of Havenwood. Each fungus creature gets +1/+1 for each spore counter. Okay, so this is another one of those spore counter cards. And then Zealous Conscripts. Haste when it enters control of target permanent until end of turn. That might be a useful card in some format. I do have to say the timing of those stimulus checks got really lucky for me. I probably was not going to get a second box, but then the stimulus came around and I was able to reasonably afford a second one. Aeon Chronicler, equal to the number of cards in hand. Suspend X, X can't be 0. That's pretty good. I would probably run it just for the suspend cost, because that'll get you a lot of value over time. So that's probably one I will use. Old Border Scry the Bones. Ooh, that looks nice. And I'm pretty sure this is from the Theros set, if I remember right. That looks nice. I would honestly love to see that in foil. Still only 3 mythics. The other box gave us 5. I wonder if we're going to hit another mythic in these last 4 packs. Edge of Autumn. I see a foil in this, so we might get something good. And a War Mentor, Time Bender, Skittering Monstrosity, Venser, Shaper Savant. Not particularly. Molten Rain, destroy target land. If that land was non-basic, it deals 2 damage to the controller. And the foil was just an uncommon bonded fetch. Not a particularly great card. Defender, haste, draw a card, discard a card. I think it would have been better if it just didn't have the haste, but didn't make you discard a card. But I suppose that might be too strong for a 3-drop then, even with Defender. Cloudseeder. Discard a card, creative. Okay, that's not particularly great. Oh! Sliver Legion. That is definitely a hit. I believe that's one of the most expensive cards in this set. And I don't really run slivers, so that is one that's definitely up for sale. And then an Old Border Repeal. Return target non-land permanent with converted mana cost X, draw a card. I'm not sure how useful that one is. Oh, I should set that there just in case. Just so, not in case, just so people who are watching the video can keep up. Two-headed. Anything in the commons? Nope. Whipspine, Fungal Reach, Lightning Axe, Hivestone. I believe that's another good card. I'm not entirely sure, but it pairs extremely well with Sliver Legion. Like, even if you run cards that aren't slivers, there you go. So, Master of the Pearl Trident. Oh, that one's probably a pretty good one. And then a foil Sidewinder Sliver. All slivers have flanking. Last pack of the video. So let's see. Oh, this should go over here because that's not a mythic. Can we get one more mythic to match the first box? Let's see. Another Search for Tomorrow. There's another Dreamscape Artist. A box without a Seeker in it that had the, oh, there's a Croson Grip. That's a nice hit. Coalition Relic. Add a mana of any color. Put a charge counter. Ah, this one. I'm not very sold on the Coalition Relic. But an Old Border Consuming Aberration. I know people love playing with their aberrations. I occasionally like playing with it myself. Hehehe. I get it. Anyways, that was my 2 boxes of Time Spiral. I'm not sure how well I made off compared to the unboxing videos that I saw. But I'd say overall I got a lot of cards that I really like. I mean, just to give an idea, here is all the commons and uncommons I set aside that I plan to use in decks. So that's pretty good. Here's all the rares I plan to use. Again, pretty good. And the rest of this is just trade or for selling, so yeah. I'd say I did pretty good on my boxes.